What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American, here today to react and learn about words that Brits pronounce differently. As Americans, we definitely tend to think that we pronounce words the correct way. So today, I want to learn about the British way to pronounce certain words. And I also think it would be fun if we try to take an objective stance and determine which pronunciation makes the most sense. The British pronunciation or the American pronunciation. So, with that being said, let's take a look.
In the UK, they say Buddha. In the US, we say Buddha.
Oh. Wow, we're jumping right into it. Okay. I've never heard this one before. Buddha, Buddha. You know? Now that I actually look at the word, this isn't really a word that you're saying that often in the United States, but we certainly do say Buddha. But if I'm being honest, it looks like it should be pronounced Buddha. Is this a sign of things to come? What the heck? I think the British pronunciation is actually more correct here. It's a U, B-U-D-D-H-A, Buddha. What? How have I never thought about this before? I actually think this is going to be fascinating today. I think the British way makes more sense, actually.
In the UK, they say Nissan. In the US, we say Nissan.
Oh, wow. I had no idea about this one. I've somehow never heard a British person say this word ever in my life. Because I had no idea you pronounced it Nissan? Nissan. Or the American way would be Nissan. 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 I mean, when you look at it, like N-I-S-S, if you just put that word in front of me, N-I-S-S, I would pronounce that Nis. N-I-S-S. Nis. On. Put an A-N at the end. Nissan. Is that how you say it? Am I even saying it right?
In the UK, they say Nissan. In the US, we say Nissan.
I agree. This should probably be Nissan. Just looking at it. What the? Is this all that this video is going to be today? Me just learning the British pronunciation of words and being like, yeah, that actually sounds right. Somehow in America, you grow up saying things a certain way, and you just never really think about it. Like if I saw this word for the first time, I'd probably say Nissan. I had to be taught to say Nissan. Nissan. You should spell that N-E-E-S-O-N. That would be Nissan. That doesn't even make sense. What?
In the UK, they say pasta. In the US, we say pasta.
I like that one. I've heard that before. Pasta. I think there's even maybe some American dialects or certain American accents in the United States where certain Americans say pasta. So, I don't know. Maybe that's a little bit of British influence. I don't know where that comes from. But most Americans say pasta. This is just the difference between like a different A sound. Because if you have the letter A, you can say a, aw, pasta, pasta. I mean, I guess Americans kind of pronounce this as if it were written P-O-S-T-A, pasta. Now that'd be posta. I don't know. I'm kind of split on this one. Pasta. Aw. That's like an A sound, aw. But you can also go pasta. But both work. Both work in this case, I think.
In the UK, they say lieutenant. I'm not even sure I can say that the exact right way. In the US, we say lieutenant.
Okay. I'm not going to agree on all of these British pronunciations, and I think this is where I draw the line. So is it lieutenant? Left? Like left, right? Left. Lieutenant. No idea. No idea where that comes from. Do British people, like, do you even really, like, understand where that pronunciation comes from? Or is it just something you're taught to say. I remember hearing lieutenant for the first time in my life and being so confused because I think there's quite a lot of Americans who would genuinely have no idea what you're saying. If you look at the word lieutenant, Lieu, I think that's Lou. I think that's a reasonable way to pronounce Lou, Lieu, lieutenant, lieutenant. But this left stuff, I don't know. Where's the F? I don't know. I think the American pronunciation finally actually makes more sense for once, actually.
Say that the exact right way. In the US, we say lieutenant.
Yes.
In the UK, they typically say taco, and in the US, we say taco.
Interesting. I'm starting to see a theme. I don't know what kind of A sound that is. Is that like the long A? Taco. Pasta. I feel like I'm not even doing it right. We say taco. We do. But you can pronounce A's with that sound. I don't know what A sound that is, the sound. Or why Americans tend to do that. I never really even thought about that before. But maybe this is just a recurring theme in the way we pronounce A's. I think British people do the taco, pasta. I feel like I'm from Boston, Massachusetts or something. I swear, there's Americans who say A sounds like this as well. Taco, pasta. I'm not at all doing it with any kind of eloquence that a British accent would have. So I'm going to say either way is fine. Either way is fine. Taco makes me laugh a little bit just because it's so not how we say it here. But it makes perfect sense.
In the UK, they say niche, and in the US, we say niche.
I've heard both, actually. This is one of those interesting things in the United States where I think it's kind of split. I've heard people say niche and niche. I think it's supposed to be niche. So how do British people say it?
Go. In the UK, they say niche, and in the US, we say niche.
I think it should be niche. I think I was taught niche. I like that that's the British standard, niche. But in America, you hear people say both ways. There's no normal here. I don't like niche. I don't like pronouncing it niche. There's an E on the end. That E has to do something. And niche is just like it's a harsher sounding word. So I'm going to go with the British pronunciation. I think the British pronunciations are killing it so far in this video. Not exactly what I expected, because I kind of expected my own American bias to kind of creep in, because these do sound strange to me. But when you look at the word, it's hard to argue that it's wrong, because it actually looks like how you should probably say it.
In the UK, they say basil. In the US, we say basil.
Here it is again. Pasta, taco, basil. That's definitely what it is. We say basil. So this one is fine either way, I'm going to say. Okay.
In the UK, they say adult. In the US, we say adult.
Oh, that's subtle. I don't think I've ever noticed that. British people say adult, and we say adult. What is the difference even there? Like where the emphasis is? Where the stress on the letter is? Adult. Adult. No. No, we're pronouncing the A with the different sound. This again. Wow, it's just at the beginning of a word. So it like kind of confused me. This is like taco and pasta, adult. And we do the different A sound. Adult. I honestly had no idea that was like an American thing. We definitely use a certain type of A sound. I'm not sure what you call it, but oh my gosh. Which one sounds more correct? I forgot to say. They're both correct. Both correct. A can go either way. Totally fine.
In the UK, they say apricot, and in the US, we say apricot.
Apricot. Wow. So, if you're trying to have a convincing British accent, like if an American's trying to do a British accent, you have to kind of learn to use this British A sound, which is very different to the A sound we tend to use in America.
In the UK, they say advertisement, and in the US, we say advertisement.
Right. Okay, this is an interesting one. I'm not even sure. Advertisement? Advertisement. And we say advertisement. Where do we differ? What? How do you quantify the difference here? It's in the middle where everything starts going crazy. Advertisement or advertisement? Tisment. I can't even do this. So it's the middle bit. We say the T-I-S-E, ties, advertisement. And British people say advertisement. You act like the E in the middle doesn't exist. Okay. I think I've actually cracked the code here. I told you. I wanted to try to get objective here. You know, what's the most logically correct pronunciation? I mean, but you say advertise. Is that why you say advertisement? Advertisement? Whereas we say advertise and advertise. I can't even This is so funny because if you keep saying this stuff enough, you start forgetting like how you even say it. Anyway, in the middle, we say ties, you say tis. I think it should be advertisement. I think the American pronunciation makes more sense. I'm sorry, but there's a T-I-S-E. There's an E in the middle. Advertisement. I don't know. Argue with me if you want. That's perfectly fine. You can do it however you want, but I'm laying down the hammer here. Advertisement is I think it's more correct. Okay.
In the UK, they say address. In the US, we say address.
Address. It's the thing. Okay, this is fine. Either way is fine.
In the UK, they say boy. In the US, we say buoy.
Yeah. Whoa. This is one of those again where if you said this word as a British person, like I would have no idea what you're saying. Genuinely. Boy?
Okay, they say boy.
Boy. That's already a word though. You know, like girl, boy. This boy, B-U-O-Y. But as strange as that is to me, the way that Americans say this might be even stranger. Buoy. Where the heck did we get buoy from this? Buoy. I don't think the British way is perfect, but I think the American way of saying this as buoy makes so little sense. I've never thought about buoy before, but it makes no sense when you look at the word. So I think boy is better, even though I don't totally agree with it, but it's better.
In the US, we say buoy.
Yeah.
In the UK, they say debris. And in the US, we say debris.
Okay, this is a good one. Because I think I've heard somewhere a British person on the internet or movies or TV say debris. It's how do you say it? We say debris. Debris. Debris.
UK, they say debris.
Debris.
And in the US, we say debris.
It's very similar, actually. This one really is just all about where the emphasis is. Debris. Debris. It actually sounds the same, but different. How is that possible? Debris. Debris. It's actually really cool. Like, what's the difference there? There's like a stress difference on the word. Either way is fine. Either way is fine. I think debris is kind of cool, actually. It sounds a little more fancy to me.
In the UK, they say dynasty. And in the US, we say dynasty.
Oh, wow. Dynasty. A dynasty. I don't know about that, actually. We say dynasty. If you look at this word, dy, die, nasty, dynasty. I sound like a kindergarten teacher right now. teaching words to kindergartners. Die, nasty, dynasty. And British people say dynasty. Can you pronounce Y like that? I think it should be D-I-N if you're going to say dynasty. You know, I've been going the British way for a lot of this video, but there's a few things here where I'm going to put down the line. I'm going to say that the American pronunciation makes more sense to me, that this would be dynasty, not dynasty. There's no I in there. I don't know.
In the UK, they say herb, and in the US, we say herb.
Ah. And right on cue is something that makes no sense the American way. Why do we say herb? That's right, we do. We're just taught it. That must be how it's like in British culture as well. You're just taught things growing up. There's a few words that you can't argue here that Americans, we just make up ways to say it, or in this case, what happened to the letter H? It just disappeared, and it's herb. And there's a few examples of that being true in the British pronunciation, but here, the British pronunciation makes sense. There's an H. Herb. Is it herb? You have to put like a huh. It's actually difficult for me to do that because I'm not used to making that H sound, honestly. Herb. Not herb. Herb. It makes more sense. Okay.
In the UK, they say leisure, and in the US, I'm almost getting the countries wrong. This is kind of hard, guys. In the US, we say leisure.
That happened to me as well during this. I'm starting to get everything like crossed over and confused. So I think British people say leisure. We say leisure. This is a tough one. Leisure. L-E-I. L-E-I. If L-E-I is le, then this is leisure. Leisure. Or is it lee? L-E-I is lee? Leisure? Maybe this should just be pronounced leisure. Maybe no one's correct. Maybe this should be leisure. For the first time, I have no idea how this should properly be pronounced. I can't make that call. No idea.
Almost getting the countries wrong. This is kind of hard, guys. In the US, we say leisure.
Yes.
In the UK, they say missile. And in the US, we say missile.
Oh. Whoa. We say this wrong. This is so fascinating to actually stop and take some time to look at how the words are spelled. Because after a while, especially the longer you're an adult, you really stop looking at the letters in a word. We say missile. Missile. And you say missile? Missile makes more sense.
In the UK, they say missile, and in the US, we say missile.
Missile makes more sense. What? I think for the most part, the British pronunciations have been winning in this little competition. This is British pronunciation. There's an I at the end, missile. But we say missile. A lot of Americans wouldn't even know what you're saying if you said missile. And yet, if you showed them the word, objectively, it says missile. We just removed the I? What the heck?
In the UK, they say military, and in the US, we say military.
Oh, okay. The American pronunciation, I think, might be more practical here. Military. Because British people say military? Is that am I doing that right? Military?
They say military.
Military.
And in the US, we say military.
Yeah, what happened to the A? See, it's like random. Us Americans, we lose entire letters, like in missile. And British people, you just lose the A? Military. There's an A. Military. There's an A there. I mean, right?
In the UK, they say premier. And in the US, we say premier.
Pre and pra. Premier. I mean, it is a P-R-E. Premier. Why do we say premiere? That seems like it'd be P-R-A, premiere. What on earth? the British the British pronunciation wins again, and I think, man, this video actually has been going on a while. I'm getting like just so entranced by this. I never realized how many words we really kind of pronounce wrong here in America. This has been a very interesting experiment for me. Actually, this was by Girl Gone London. I gotta give this video a like. I think this is a good place to stop. My mind's kind of blown. Premiere. it took Premiere to fully just blow my mind up. Right there. That's when it happened. But seriously, I think the vast majority of these words, when I actually look at them, the British pronunciation makes more sense, like grammatically. Who knew? Is this why British people, are you just over there like just scratching your heads at why Americans pronounce certain words certain ways? Because I'm starting to do that too. I am never going to think of certain words the same again, especially missile, premiere. Oh my gosh. This has been actually really, really interesting to me today. I enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on words that are pronounced differently in the UK versus the USA, and which way you think is more correct, or maybe there is no correct. Maybe that's just the beautiful thing about our cultures. There's no right way. Words are whatever you decide as a culture for them to be. Maybe that's the right answer. Except missile. I think it's missile. I think it should be missile. Anyway, if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Britain and British culture and learning things about Britain for the first time, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.